What do you like about your work?
What do I like about my work? I think what I like is a couple of things. I mean, first of all, um, it's probably helpful if I talk about the type of work that I do. So I do what's called business transformation. So that might sound like a buzzword, but what that is, when organizations change, be it one company might buy another company, one company might merge with another company, a company might need to become more competitive, so therefore it might have to reduce costs, or it might be moving into new products and new markets, and that means internally it has to change what it does.
Yeah.
And how organizations make those changes is generically called transformation. So one of the things I like about it is the intellectual side of it, saying, right, what are the things that those businesses want to do, what are the things that they want to change, then what are the things that they need to do to deliver that change, and then what are the nuts and bolts around getting that done. And where I come in is bringing the experience of how organizations have done it, to help my client organizations. Because most organizations, whether they're a retailer, whether they're an online business, whether they're an oil and gas company, whatever, they're used to doing that. But when it comes to actually making those changes internally, that is a sort of discrete skill set in itself. And it's not something to do all the time. They'll do it as a one-off exercise. So you have to leverage skilled people who do that. So that's sort of why I like it, is the intellectual side of it, in terms of, and you're coming up with new solutions for new clients, and every client is always different, and it's always new. That's what I like. The second aspect that I like is the people side, because in terms of how organizations are all about people, and it's all about people working together to sort of get things done. And the people dimension of it is very complex, and you're always learning.
How did you get started?
So how did I get started? I started out on the graduate scheme, a company called O2. You may know them. They're a telecoms company. So I was on the graduate scheme there, rotating around the different parts of the business, rotated around parts of finance, strategy, and really sort of learn the job, but also how the business operated. And I got mentored by a fairly senior person in that organization. So that gave me a good grounding in terms of business. So whatever line of work you always go into, I would advise to go somewhere where you can learn from, where an organization invests in your development and allows you to learn. Because what you want to do is get some core skills, broad base of skills, before you decide where to specialize in sort of later on. So definitely going somewhere where an employer can kind of invest in you, important. And that's in terms of hard skills, in terms of courses and qualifications, but also in terms of role models and people who you can role model, and people who kind of impress you, and people, the way they carry themselves. Because those sort of things are important as you go through your career as well, looking for those role models.
Would that be the one piece of advice that you'd give to someone starting out?
I think for someone starting out, I think there are a couple of things. I think first, obviously, finding something that you're interested in is clearly important, and then if you go back from that, some of that, at school, what are the things that you're good at? Are you into sort of maths and science? Are you more into humanities, history, geography, or of a musician, artist? Are you into the natural sciences, for example? What are the things that interest you? And I think those are and if something interests you, you'll tend to spend more time in it and tend to excel at it a little bit more. And that's the starting point for me, because I remember when I was young, at art, but for some reason I had it in my head that I wanted to be an architect. But then when I started to look into it, I realized, it sounds, but it was never really my thing, so I had to discount that early on, and I'm sure if anyone's watching this, they're going through sort of things. So the starting point is sort of what you're good at, I would say. Okay. Yeah. And then kind of take things from there. Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much.